Right. Question time happened. It's a show, topical news show in Britain. It's the big flagship thing on the BBC. Loads of people watch it. Laurence Fox is an actor. Who cares what he's been in? Right. The people from the audience ask questions. He gives the panel of people, usually 5 or 6 people, who are politicians, and then they have like a journalist and a bit of fluff. The bit of fluff on this occasion was the actor Laurence Fox, and he's a twat, apparently. I didn't know this before, but there we go. No, don't be sorry, Cog. I'm not having a dig at anyone particularly. I just think the music, there's no need for an intro bit. Like, does anyone think we're professional? Hello?
I didn't realize that you wanted a response for that. I just think it's kind of a nice thing to do to...
Well, I was just... I'd stop speaking, so one of us has to speak.
It's the way that I make sure we go live before we go live. But today I was solving all the problems at once.
Okay.
Yeah. So back to the BBC.
Yeah, so do we want to take a listen to what this dickhead had to say?
Right, so we're doing old school sound here, so I have no idea how loud this is going to be. I'm going to hope it's not going to blow everyone out. And Kevin, remember that you're going to be really loud when you come out of the speakers.
Yes, so I'll... Oh, well, there we go.
Yep. Okay.
So I'll whisper.
Better.
There we go.
I think people will probably do what's cheapest, won't they? So it depends whether flying or the train is cheaper.
Oh, by the way, this question was about flight.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why he's answering.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. To about 2 minutes 40 in. Okay. Try again. And this time I'll also turn the volume up. Oh, stop talking for a second. It's so depressing because I actually like Lewis. I'm turning in.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I preferred Norse, which was Lewis is a spin-off of.
Yeah, although way more misogyny.
They're both good shows.
Yeah, but okay. So here we go.
Sussex Royal. I feel sorry for them in a way.
Oh, he's
talking about the Royals.
It's difficult when you've got a new baby.
Okay, so pause. Take it forward.
No, because what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, you thought was it about the Royals?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's where it starts. That's not all of it.
Okay.
He gives 2 or 3 absolutely atrocious answers. Am I still speaking into the microphone? Because I don't know how loud I'm being now.
No, now it's fine. I've just I've turned it down. I've taken the sound away. So if you don't hear it, then you can't hear yourself.
Okay. So when you pause it, I can speak normally.
Correct.
Good.
This is how we used to do it before we had Skype working.
Teamwork.
Yes.
We can do this. Anyway, yes. And apologies if I was a little brusque earlier. I didn't mean to be. I'm just a fucking queen. But, yes. Yeah, so it starts off with they ask about air travel, and he gives a twatty answer to that, but at least it's sort of honest about, like, I'm an actor, so I've got lots of a big carbon footprint, but I make up for it but actors make up for it by being condescending and giving advice to other people about it or something. So he's sort of a twat there, but that's the least of the matter. So anyway, audience member asks about the thing, which we talked about in the last episode. The royal thing. Well done, Kev. The language is your flat. The royal couple and all that shit, and it was about racism. And posh white boy gives posh white boy answer.
Okay, there we go. There's the background you need. Actually, doing it the 3rd time, you were really, really efficient.
Yes, I cut out the waffle because I was literally like, if I don't get this out now, I'm going to fucking scream. So,
yeah, you did it very, very succinctly. All right.
Enormous, building, bubbling, throbbing anger breeds efficiency.
Yes. So,
I think that was an Adam Smith quote.
Yes, I think famously Adam Smith in The Wealth of Nations said that. White guy puts foot in mouth syndrome coming up right now. Not
even puts foot in mouth. He literally he's just it's not that he's awful necessarily. It's just he is white privilege personified. Like the answer he gives, or the answers he gives, just show that he doesn't understand the real world. Which, I mean, he's an actor. You wouldn't necessarily expect him to. And he's a posh boy, so he's never lived like a normal life or whatever. He doesn't know what real life is. But in that case, I mean, you don't go on the show where you could have answered questions about real life. Maybe.
Okay, so don't talk now again for a bit. Okay.
But because it's difficult when you've got a new baby and all of that, and it's hard. But I just have this feeling that surely Harry must have had a chat to Meghan at some point and said, by the way, darling, this is going to be misery, and you don't have to marry me if you don't want to. And then,
well, maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe they did. But then and then you want to hop out. It's like, well, can we have the cottage back and your HRHs?
So you think they're doing the wrong thing? Do you think it's disrespectful?
I don't. I think it's really unfair because look, we've got the Queen, who is an extremely different ballgame, isn't she? She's duty ahead of everything else. And I think, when you're younger, you do want to make a life for your family. So I do empathise with them, but I do think there's a little bit of having cake and eating it, which I don't enjoy.
Okay. Yes, the one there. Stuck your hand right up.
The problem we've got with this is that Meghan has agreed to be Harry's wife, and then the press have torn her to pieces. And let's be really clear about what this is. Let's call it by its name. It's racism. She's a black woman, and she has been torn to pieces.
You can't.
She has been torn to pieces.
It's not racism.
It absolutely is.
We're the most tolerant, lovely country in Europe.
I'm sorry, did he say we're the most tolerant, lovely country?
That's leaving the European Union because the foreigners. Yes, apparently so. And if it seems to fall into the logical fallacy here, where even if we were the most tolerant, lovely country in Europe, which isn't saying a lot considering the intolerance in Europe, but even if we were, we could also still be being racist in this one way.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we were, it doesn't prove anything.
No, that's a good point. You can't point to a general thing and then say this specific thing can't be because I'm making claims about a what. Yeah, it's completely unrelated.
And of course, again, he would say that because I'm going to guess he's never experienced racism.
This is it.
As he's about to tell us, he's experiencing racism right now.
Oh, please. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
Yes.
Oh, he doesn't.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he
Not
doesn't.
only has he decided to shout over a woman of colour explaining racism to him, it gets even better.
So he white-splained her.
Well, I won't speak for him. I'll let the man speak for himself.
Okay. So now the speakers are back up. So here we go with a random sound line.
It's so easy to throw the charge of racism at everybody, and it's really starting to get
What worries
boring.
me about your comment is you are a white privileged male who has no experience.
Yes.
I mean, can I just...
can't help what
Wait. Sorry. He's sitting there on stage. He's only there because he's an actor. He doesn't know anything about anything, but he's not benefiting from white privilege?
Just hold. Seriously, the next couple of sentences out of his face are amazing.
I'm here on a platform. Sorry, I need to process this before I can go on.
Yeah, he's
A guy who has no experience of racism.
or anything.
Yes.
Outside of acting.
Who's basically gotten by on sort of like his talents and his ability to act, pretend like he's other people, which is, fine. We pay people for that. And is gonna like claim now that he doesn't benefit from white privilege, even though she's in the audience and he's there. She's probably more qualified to be on that panel than he is.
No, that's Kristi. Come on. We all know working class black kids always get leading roles in ITV dramas. It happens all the time.
Yes. The television station is full of that. Yes, it's hard for a white guy to even get a role these days, especially not a detective role.
Look, Stormzy exists. End of racism.
Yes. All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
Prepare yourself.
All
Gird your loins for the next couple of sentences, which are amazing.
Sorry, it looks
Hang
like
on.
yeah. I've got wires. I've got speakers. I've got an
That's
optical mouse
fine,
thing.
Kristi. It's
Okay.
fine. I mean, I'm okay with it, but you'll have to explain yourself to God on Judgment Day.
You know, I was also thinking, like, oh, wow, because I got 20 minutes before the show. I'm like, it's so much easier when I don't host. I just show up, and Kevin does a lot of the work.
Well, I was prepared to do all
No,
the work.
exactly.
I had it all lined
I
up,
know,
and then
no, exactly.
you
I
decided to die.
I know. It was
It's
my night
so
off.
annoying.
I know.
It's so annoying.
All right.
I'll host the next two. If my equipment will allow, that's what
connection of getting. So yes, I think we've gone back a little bit, but that's all right because again, my mind was blown.
But anyway, yeah, prepare yourself. Okay. Your mind is about to get reblown.
All right, and speakers are on.
A white privileged male who has no experience in it.
I mean, can I just...
I can't help what I am. I was born like this. It's an immutable characteristic. So to call me a white privileged male is to be racist. You're being racist.
You cannot
Okay.
You literally went full reverse racism.
How is she being racist? By pointing out he's benefiting from his racial privileges in a white society.
Yeah, she didn't say you're bad because you're white. She was saying you had certain advantages because of that.
Yes, and her original point wasn't even directed at him.
Yeah, exactly. You as a white male, X, Y, and Z. Not you as a white male are bad.
No, and she was also initially talking about the media coverage, if I remember correctly. She wasn't like you talking about it. I mean, I think she was saying, part of the criticisms, but I think she was speaking more widely about the society. And God.
Well, yeah, she was literally saying the press had been racist. She hadn't been saying he was being racist.
No, but then he decided to take it personally because wow.
And
did you see his little snowflake response as well?
Yeah. Oh God.
Well, he does this teenager.
I think he does this in just a second, where he goes on about you accusing people of racism is getting really boring. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sorry that people who are benefiting from a system of oppression are tired of hearing about people being oppressed.
Yeah.
The people who are being oppressed.
Won't someone think of the white man?
I know. He doesn't want to hear all these complaints. He just wants to go about his privileged life with nothing changing so that he can continue to benefit from racism.
Exactly. I mean, he doesn't want to have to deal with black people even in his own show. So, Okay. Although he doesn't do the casting, to be fair. But there are no black people in those shows.
No.
I think they let the occasional Indian in. That's about it.
I thought it was good, quite a lot of representation on EastEnders, which, considering where it's located, is appropriate.
But that's London.
Exactly.
And that London, as John Cleese told us, is not an English city anymore. Which is interesting because on an upcoming episode of The Descent of Manosphere, which will probably be done in about 6 months, there's a bit where some fascists have taken to that as a talking point now. So well done, John, you twat.
Yeah. All right, we ready now?
Yes.
Okay, speakers on. Kevin, down.
I'm not taking a view either way. I'll just add in that Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, also took the view that it wasn't racism. I'm not making a judgment on that.
What does she have to do with anything? Sorry?
She's brown, so they...
Yeah, that's... Sorry, I forgot to turn the sound down. That's what it's like.
Okay, can I speak now?
It's good, it's fine.
I prefer it like this now.
Now we're going to do happy hour ASMR, or ASMR, however you want to say it.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine I'm in the next room shouting. I don't know why you would do that. That would be weird. Anyway, what was I fucking saying? I wonder if my dad won't know your channel, so he's literally just like,
he thought it's over.
This show's rubbish. Why are people watching? Anyway, I was about to apologise to him knowing he wasn't listening. That was silly. Anyway, Priti Patel's a brown person, an awful brown person. So that she can be used as like a token.
I just asked this random...
This brown person. Well, no, to be fair, she's Home Secretary, so she's not just a random person. But yeah.
But what would the Home Secretary's opinion on Meghan Markle's, or whatever, the Duchess's experience have to do with anything? She's basically doing the...
tokenism is.
Yes.
It's literally, she's brown. This brown person said it wasn't racist, so... But I'm not... And I like the fact that she says, I'm not taking a position on this. I'm just going to back up this white dude by saying, well, a brown person agrees with him.
Yeah, that is out of order. That is seriously out of order.
Well, this is why a lot of people, including myself, don't watch this shit, because, I mean, it wasn't great when prick face. I can't remember his
Dimbleby?
name now. Dimbleby.
Yeah.
Yes, David Dimbleby was doing the show. But since she's taken over, it's just awful. It's such a Tory shithole now.
And that's Fiona.
Fiona Bruce.
Yes, thanks.
A bad news presenter. She was fine doing that. But now she sort of stepped out from the shadows and revealed herself. She's awful.
I mean, how can you, I don't know. I mean, if aliens came down, right? I think it's hard sometimes for white people to get outside of their own whiteness. I know it is for me sometimes, but this was a moment where I could see whiteness, just like glaring.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I need sunglasses, this whiteness.
But Kristi, don't be racist against the whites, okay?
Yeah, because noticing white
Laurence,
people. Yeah.
Laurence, I was about to say Sir Laurence, because for some reason Sir Laurence Olivier popped into my head. Anyway, this prick probably will get a knighthood eventually, because we're the most lovely, tolerant nation in the world, if you're white. Laurence has told us. Loza, the album, has told us the real racism is anti-white racism.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Very much echoing the words of the great Richard T. Brain. Dickie.
Yeah. But in terms of this, like if aliens came down and you just saw the situation, it would be impossible for it to not look like the white people who have the power and are on the platform and who get the last word are not only shutting down a person of color who doesn't get a right of reply, but also bringing in just a priori of no context other than skin color being shared, the opinion of somebody not related to the topic, in order to sort of, again, back up. I mean, it's just so obvious.
So the aliens would agree with the anti-whites. Typical immigrants.
Yes.
Typical intergalactic immigrants coming over here.
Intergalactic, planetary. BC Boys Intergalactic is much better.
Yeah. Intergalactic. There we go.
On my end at least, you sort of actually turned into a Dalek for part of it, which was so appropriate for the song.
Yeah, it is a kind of Dalek-y sound.
No. In the Hangout, you digitized while you were doing that. I don't know if anyone else. I don't know if anyone else heard that little like reverb effect on Kevin's voice there when he was doing the robot thing.
No, that was my natural thing because I am the best beatboxer in the history of the world. I'm so white.
On your block.
I'm so white, but I don't do the racism of being so white. I think that's the difference. That's literally the only difference, though, because I am very white.
Yes, unlike you. Unlike me, sorry. You're not anti-white. Oh, wait, or are you?
Well, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Well, it depends. It depends whether I'm a secret Muslim, a secret Jew, or a secret anything else on any given day. Well, is that a secret? I'm a communist 24/7, yeah.
That's why you're not getting into Richard Spencer's white ethno state.
Well, try and stop me, Rich. Because unlike your now ex-wife, I can defend myself, you cunt.
Yeah, infiltrate and then convert to Islam and try to get other people. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna set up a series of synagogues in the ethno state. What are they going to do? Kick out white people?
I just think it's great that at this a time in your life, you're going to, convert to Judaism and get circumcised.
Oh, to annoy Nazis, yes. I will convert to any of your fucking religions to annoy a Nazi. Absolutely.
There you go. That's the kind of espionage they weren't looking for.
Exactly. The only way you could get me to convert to God is through pettiness towards evil people. Good stuff.
That's a motivating factor. At least we know, what your reward center is like. Okay, yeah. So are we ready to go back to the video? Okay. Let me turn the volume up and hit play.
By the way, the woman in the red top there. Laurence, did you want to come back in before I go?
Yeah, I think that it's one of the dangerous things about throwing racism around in this country, which we're doing a lot at the moment.
By the way,
people become
Sorry, I gotta turn off the sound and pause it. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Just to point out, listen to what he says here and realise how ridiculously hypocritical it is, given that he's just accused someone else of racism.
Yeah, that's true. He is like, oh, I think it's ridiculous how easily we throw over racism, and he's like, you're being racist to me. And she didn't say anything about him. All right, yeah, no, good point. Okay. All right, I've gone back a little bit. Don't talk, because the speaker is on now.
Okay.
Brown.
Oh God,
It's
so
huge with
my
the
voice
rock.
line is so
Just
sexy.
stop. Dude, stop. All right.
It's so sexy.
Just one without the echo. All right.
Like Barry White. I'm like Barry White with a sore throat.
You're like everybody
Sort
with
of.
you're like everybody with a sore throat.
That is true.
All right. So I'm going to turn the speakers on now and hit play.
People become so conscious of it that things like the Manchester grooming scandal get ignored. So that, we need to be careful that we need to call out racism when it's seen, when it's obvious, and when it's there.
I think it's rather.
Yeah. So he's saying because some people online say racism. Yeah, he means wrong. It's so great when white people, when they're when they're white-splaining racism, that they get their facts straight.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he means Rotherham.
Yeah, because I was like, what is he talking about, Manchester?
But it's a northern city. It's somewhere up there. That'll do.
Yeah,
Rotherham,
'cause
Manchester, Lincoln,
something
Scunthorpe.
like
Who
that.
cares? Yeah.
Yeah, it's something, north of London, which is all he cares about. So I'm doing a little peek at the screen.
Exactly. It's north of Oxford. What's the point of his existence? Although, to be fair, no, that's a bit unfair, because he does say later on that the people of Liverpool are actually better than the people of London, which I thought was surprising and nice, albeit that he is sort of playing to the home crowd there.
Yeah,
but anyway.
And now it makes me think, does he wonder, is London too diverse?
Yeah, exactly. You get too many of them darkies in London.
Yeah, just foreigners, generally, in your very polite country.
Poles, in a very accepting, tolerant country.
All that dancing going on in the street.
Exactly. Gypsies. Too many gypsies in our tolerant, lovely country.
Yeah, I just asked the Daily Mail.
Exactly.
All right.
Jews. Too many Jew.
You're just going to go on with a list, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Romanians. Oh, they're everywhere.
All right.
Mainly Romania, to be fair. But
Okay. Kevin goes quiet time and speakers go on time. Okay.
Should stand together to condemn it. But for fear of sounding racist, there's been horrific things have happened in Manchester and in towns all over the north of England, and we should be careful and use racism when it's there and it's obvious, and not call someone racist just because they don't agree with you.
Oh, if they're wearing a Klan, thing, obviously. But
well, can I just point out, in order to debunk his nonsense, it wasn't because of political correctness that those things were allowed to go on. It was because the police are shit and have not cared about child molestation for decades.
Yeah.
Look at BBC, Jimmy Savile, the Catholic Church, indeed even the Church of England have had their problems.
Honestly, like girls disappearing and being abused and trafficked. I'm not saying that, yes, there was failings here. And was there...
Yeah, huge failings.
Yeah. But it's not yeah. Also, it was one incident, right? And then it became a national scandal and a lot of attention.
No. To be fair, there have been several instances across the country. But the point is, it wasn't just Muslims for which this was the case. Like I say, if you look at the Catholic Church, you look at the BBC, you look at the Church of England, you look at various institutions across the country, including schools, where child abuse was systematically ignored for decades. So it's not a matter of they let the Muslims off so they didn't appear to be racist. Also, even if that were the case, that would be at least in part because the police have been racist. If you look at the Macpherson report that was launched after the murder of Stephen Laurence, which was a very racist murder and a attempted cover-up of said racism by the police in the 1990s, a very, very famous case which has had profound impacts on British culture ever since. The police were found to have been ridiculously institutionally racist to allow these neo-Nazi murderers to at first walk through. Thankfully, on appeal, they were eventually found guilty and imprisoned for X number of years each. But the police tried to allow them to get away with that. So even if it were the case, which it wasn't, but even if it were the case, that would be because the police have made a run for their own backs by actually being racist.
Yeah, if you had a situation where, the community hadn't had those issues and people weren't afraid of doing things because of past egregious things, it could have gotten sorted out. Yeah.
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 Exactly. And you can always tell, and I'm not accusing Laurence Fox of this necessarily, but with the Tommy Robinson types, you can always tell those who actually care about child abuse. And there are some people who do get sucked into the cult of the Tommunists who do actually care and get taken in by Tommy's rhetoric on this sort of thing. But the ones that only ever go on about Muslim sex abuse and never anyone else, including, people from their own religion, people from their own social sector, people from their own town who are white, whatever. You get the feeling that very strongly that it's not a matter of them caring about the victim, but rather the perpetrator, the colour of the skin and the racial background of the perpetrator, and that's all.
And classic. I mean, this is, as you say, it's a kind of a common right-wing talking point, basically. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting my equipment reset up and hitting play. Oh, we didn't need that.
Right, Lucy O'Brien, where... Oh, yes. Let's hear from you.
Considering Boris Johnson's comments about Liverpool and its overwhelming support for Labour, what can we now expect from a Tory government?
Excuse me.
Okay.
Because this bit's just the answer he gave about Liverpool being okay.
I took the speaker away.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Like, that's not the end of the world. Just,
okay, so
there we go. Just go to about there.
Yeah, the next guy. Okay. Oh, look at... All right.
Yes.
Which Labour candidate, if any, do you feel could reconnect with the lost voters in the north?
Laurence.
Before we get into that.
Okay.
We just...
Oh my God, he looks like Dave Rubin.
He does look like Dave Rubin. Is that an anti-Semitic comment, Krista?
Why is... Who's Jewish?
Because Dave Rubin's Jewish.
Is he? I don't register these. I forget he's gay. I don't know these things.
Really? Because he mentions both the fact that he's Jewish and gay, but he hates identity politics all the fucking time.
I hear him mention his husband, I think, more.
Oh no, he goes, whenever anyone accuses him of being like pandering to far right shit, he goes, oh yeah, the gay Jewish guys are Nazi.
I think I know it's kind of weird. I kind of think I have a Jewish blind spot. Like, it doesn't register with me. I mean, especially.
I don't know. Is that racist?
No.
I don't see. It's like saying I don't see Jewishness.
Well, yeah, because I was like, I don't see religion. No, I don't. I don't actually see religion. I don't. That's no.
Well, it's difficult to tell. You get white Jews, black Jews, brown Jews.
Yeah. And so
all the Jews of the rainbow.
And so unless someone is saying stuff about Judaism, or they're a rabbi, or they're being very traditional.
Multiple rabbits.
What is the rabbits thing? Gotta stop that.
I don't know. it's in my head now. So it's like a fucking earworm.
It's gotta stay in there though.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't it doesn't kind of enter into my calculation. Yeah. I don't know. It's like saying someone's a particular Methodist or I don't know. It doesn't really count. Like I don't keep that level of detailed knowledge on people.
He's got a look of the Greek Orthodox about him. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't know if Laurence Fox is Jewish. I was just doing a joke. Anyway.
Dave Rubin. That was where he really does look like...
No, you were saying Dave Rubin. I didn't make any fucking comment
I think he looks like Dave Rubin in this picture right there.
Which is really anti-Semitic.
Okay,
How dare you?
Now we're in a circle. All right. I need to get the sound up again. Sorry, this is also complicated.
No, hang on. I haven't fucking finished yet.
Oh,
I
okay.
literally haven't made the point I wanted to make because you interrupted with your Dave Rubin anti-Semitism. Now, yes, right. So the specific question here, and this is the important crux of the point I'm going to make in a second. It was that who of the Labour Party candidates, and there are 5 of them, 4 of which are women, and there's 1 man. Guess which one he chooses. That's literally the crux of the thing in a second. But what? The question is, which one of them can win back those northern seats?
Right.
And here he shows his enormous ignorance, as well as possibly his sexism, but who knows?
Oh, okay. Was that my cue?
When I stop talking, yes, you are then allowed to talk.
Well, I thought we're ready to hit play or something. I'm also distracted because there's a helicopter nearby my house. All right, I'm going to hit play. We're just going to roll through this.
This is in the north.
Who should replace Magic Grandpa? Keir Starmer.
That's original. Keir Starmer gets your vote, would he? And why Keir?
He just looks like he can take Boris on quite well. Do you know what I mean? That's what I get vibe.
You don't think any of the 4 women would be...
Oh, it's not about women. Jeepers creepers.
Sorry. he immediately is like, there are 4 other candidates and all women. And so she's saying that. And he goes, oh, now you're calling me a sexist. And he just starts flopping around like a fish out of water. What
Which
a
sort of reveals
snowflake.
that's sort of where he was going with it. Underlying is the man looks like he can do the job.
Yeah. And, oh God, what a hypersensitive little snowflake. Oh, are you calling me a sexist? Like, well, there are 4 other candidates. You pick the one guy, and there are 4 women. No, you don't think any of them have any power, advantages? Just he can take on in a very masculine boxing kind of way.
Well, if we just let it play for another about 20 seconds, he finishes his bit, and then I'll get on to the point that shows his fucking ignorance anyway.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I'm this is the first time me hearing this, so I'm live reacting.
No, that's absolutely fine, Krista. You are better at this than me anyway, so go for it.
All right, I'm turning up the speaker and hitting play.
Just was interested in
let
your
me
view.
rewind. Any of the women. Is that better? Any woman. Because it's really important what gender you are or sex you are rather than what your policies are and how you approach politics. Come on.
I think June Kelly. Where are you sitting?
Right.
You want me to keep playing, or you wanted to comment?
No, that's basically it.
Okay.
Yes, so he reveals his ignorance here. And 2 points. Firstly, when he says, it's not about gender, it's about policy, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at the policy platforms as outlined so far, Keir Starmer probably doesn't have the most likely to win back those northern seats, which are to the left of the rest of England anyway. They're more like the seats in Wales, for instance, which are more progressive. So he's wrong there. But secondly, the question, like I said, was about winning back those northern seats. Now, part of the problem is that London is perceived as a metropolitan elitist place and disconnected from those northern seats, which Birmingham, where I am now, is sort of considered part of as well. We're not north as such, but we're seen as that kind of thing. Sort of a halfway house, hence Midlands, I suppose. Yes, Keir Starmer not only represents a London seat, so therefore wouldn't necessarily be able to reconnect in the way that you would need them to, but also is undoubtedly a metropolitan elite. And I don't say that either in the obviously anti-Semitic way that some people use that phrase, or in the kind of saying he's shit, because he's not. He was, I think, has made a really significant contribution to British life. He was formerly the head of the Crown Prosecution Service, and I think was pretty good in that role. By and large, obviously, I'm sure you could bring up stats in certain areas where it wasn't great, but I think he did a decent job. And since he became a member of Parliament, has I think done an excellent job as the shadow Brexit secretary. But the point being is that he's definitely of the elite. Like, he's a posh lad, highly educated, top university, was head of the fucking Crown Prosecution Service, has been an MP now for a few years. Like, he's a part of the establishment, right? In a way that isn't going to reconnect with those people of the South. Whereas you have at least, 3 of those 4 women who could reconnect potentially in that way. Because you've got Lisa Nandy, who's fucking trash, right? But does represent Wigan, which is a northern seat, and has spoken out in not necessarily in favour of Brexit as such, but because she's from a very Brexit-friendly city, has spoken out about the need to just essentially get it done in order to not let down those Labour voters who voted leave in the referendum. And by the way, just a quick note on Lisa Nandy. In trying to argue against British independence during the week, she said that they needed to take the approach that the Spanish government had taken in dealing with the Catalan independence movement, which involves arresting the people who wanted Catalan independence. So unless she doesn't know what the Spanish government actually did there, she seems to be advocating the arrest of Nicola Sturgeon, which would be unbelievably atrocious. She is foul. But like I say, is from a northern seat and would connect, I think, more with those Brexit-friendly Labour voters, or former Labour voters, whatever. And you have Rebecca Long-Bailey, whose policies are much better in terms of reconnecting with those people than Keir Starmer, and is from a seat in Manchester and speaks with a northern accent as well as Lisa Nandy. And so would be able to connect far better than the posh boy from London would. So not only is he potentially being sexist, and I think reveals himself to be sexist, not Keir Starmer, the Laurence Fox reveals himself that way, by his reaction to it, by his over fucking dramatic nonsense, which I suppose you should expect from an actor, but whatever. He's ridiculously sort of over the top, like, oh, it's not about gender, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It reveals his fundamental ignorance of the situation, which again, there's no problem with that because most people in the country couldn't give you a breakdown of these people or even who the fuck they are.
But then why should he be on Question Time other than he's a white guy who's on TV?
Exactly. There's no, he shouldn't be there. Like, there's no problem with them necessarily asking him, but he should say, actually, I'm going to do the responsible thing here and say, I don't know enough about this shit, so I'm going to take a step back and potentially allow someone who has some sort of knowledge or insight. Because me just saying Keir Starmer because he's the dude I've heard of.
Yeah. Well,
like, that's ridiculous.
It's kind of what some low information voters do. You know, that's why name recognition is so important in, you know, lower down tickets races in the U.S.
It reminds me of when we took on a certain rape tweet guy.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to him about how Donald Trump's election wasn't a landslide electoral college win, and we showed him the list. And he just started naming ones he'd heard of.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he beat Kennedy and he beat Lincoln. And so what, you're just naming presidents that, like, those two dudes are not known for having won landslides. They're known for the unnatural endings of their presidencies.
Yes.
So I don't know why you're mentioning them other than you've heard of those ones. Tell me about William Taft. No, Carl, tell me about James Polk.
Talk about Buchanan.
Tell me all about Martin Van Buren.
Also, if you think about what he said, as you pointed out, he said, oh, you know, picks a guy whose name he knows. And he talks about it. Why do you like him? Oh, because I think he can take on Boris, right? Then when she points out he hasn't said anything nice about any of the women candidates, he goes, but it's about policies, not the gender. But of course, he didn't name any policies.
Well, he doesn't know the policies.
No.
He doesn't know. And I mean, just as a piece of political analysis, I think he's correct that he could take on Boris. I think he's a very capable politician. I'm not slagging off Keir Starmer here. The point being, he doesn't, Laurence Fox doesn't understand the situation, and so then should really keep his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. So also, the whole issue about the audience selection. Did you want to talk about that?
So I've known for a long time that they've been stacking it Tory.
Yeah, you can see this tweet from Femi, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And so they've decided that when it's being held in an English city, as it was this time, they would do it proportionally on the vote across the whole of England. So that, say in England, the Tories got like 48% of the vote or whatever. They'd have 48% Tories or people who said they generally supported the Conservatives in the audience, right? But that's ridiculous because it doesn't give you any sense of regionality, in which case, why would you even bother moving out of London at all? Liverpool is a city where the Tories get no fucking votes and hold literally not one member of parliament for any of the Liverpool seats. I don't know how many there are, about a dozen or something, or 10, 8, whatever. And the Tories don't have one. So you're not getting a flavour of the views of the people of Liverpool by having nearly 50% Tories in the fucking audience. In which case, like I say, what's the point in moving it from city to city if you're just going to have the same views being expressed? That's not telling you anything about the locality.
Do you know if they have like 35% of people who didn't vote in the audience?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think they do. I think they do it just on the percentages of those who did.
Because that would be very biased as well, because those people should be represented if they're residents of citizens of the UK. Even if they didn't vote, that doesn't mean that they don't maybe just have questions, and there are reasons why.
And they're paying their taxes. They deserve to be represented. So, yeah, they should have their voice heard in the political debate. I'm not one of these people who's like, you didn't vote, so fuck you. I think people should vote, but people have the right to say, I don't like any of these candidates, so I'm not voting.
Yeah. By the way, because we're on British politics, we might as well stick with the theme. There is, you can see the screen here, this thing that came out from the BBC politics page. In Brussels, there is a strong sense the Conservative Party has not woken up to the trade-offs and compromises that will inevitably characterize the upcoming Brexit talks. So I actually looked into this a little bit, and what it comes down to is, while they've agreed some things about trade, about like not having quotas and about something about the goods moving, one of the things that you can't do is called dumping. And that means if you leave the EU and you have these agreements, you can't then destroy your labor laws to have cheaper labor and dump all your environmental guidelines. Then you go fall out of compliance. And they're concerned that the Conservative government will basically try to get a deal as if they were still complying with those non-dumping practices while actually engaging in dumping all those policies that everyone else has to apply to or abide by in the EU.
Yeah, because when Boris Johnson said that they weren't going to reduce standards on workers' rights or environmental standards or animal rights, he was lying.
Yeah, so that's a thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah. But, I mean, to be fair, the Tories have never squared up any of their shit with Brexit. It's entirely a kind of farcical pipe dream thing that should never have come to pass, because none of them ever considered the realities of it. It's just a joke. It's a fucking joke. A joke that's going to cost us for generations. Brilliant.
This I thought was absolutely horrific. So it's a quote. "I get more money cleaning toilets than I do working with these children," unquote. A nursery owner says she can't afford to run her service because the government's free childcare policy is not funded properly. So she opened up this business. I think I can let it play without the sound. And she had to get a second job to keep her nursery going. So
Mad.
And this is, when we talk about why there's a gender gap and people go, well, women just go into industries that pay less. Those industries paid less because they were done by women and they were devalued. So, if the government is sponsoring people to look after children and that pays less than, which I think cleaning toilets is in public toilet, it's a very important service. I appreciate those people and they should get paid a living wage because they're important. But they should not be making more than someone who is dealing with kids and abiding by all the government's regulations on safety and, like childproofing things and food contamination and all of that. And they're getting paid less than.
It's typical Toryism. They want all the benefits of high spending, but with low taxes and low spending, which it can't work. So you see, the NHS on the verge of collapse. You see dumb shit like this all the time. You see food bank usage going through the roof. You see homelessness going through the roof. You see people literally on the verge of starvation walking into hospitals.
Yeah. And
like, what the fuck? We're the 5th richest country in the world.
Can I also?
This is outrageous. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, just getting back on the feminist critique here. One of the things that women have engaged in and continue to engage in is a lot of unpaid labor. So teachers who spend extra time marking or doing other things that are outside contract, running clubs, other things that they're not getting paid for, but they do because they love their jobs and love the kids. That unpaid labor is worth billions of dollars. But again, because it's predominantly women in those careers, it's not valued and it's not prioritized because of the representation that we have in the history of devaluing women's work. So, if we had a more equitable valuing in terms of what people are paid and what they contribute to society, that would go a long way in fixing the gender pay gap. So that was my point. A little bit off topic, but okay.
No, I think that's fine. I think that's it's tangential, but I think it's relevant.
Oh, and here is the woman. She tweeted out, "Thank you for the support, Twitter. I'm appalled by the argument presented to me by this man. At no point did I call him racist. I said that his viewpoint is informed by his white privileged position, and he didn't like it." Yes, and in his white privileged position, he got the last word. Even though you know more about what you're saying in that sentence than he does.
Yeah, and not just that, but the one of the shittier elements of it, him shouting her down, is that she's going to get to speak for 30 seconds at most. He's going to get multiple occasions he's going to get to speak. And if necessary, he can even interject and sort of force himself into the conversation when he's not been specifically asked to. So it's really unfair that he was shouting her down in that way. Mm-hmm. That's really nonsense. Yeah.
Also, retweet women.
Yes.
Women are as likely to retweet, I think, men as women, but men are less likely to retweet. Or maybe or both have a bias, but yeah.
I'm more likely to retweet cats.
Okay. I have a little palette cleanser here, which I thought was fun. Okay, look at this. This painter who lived in the Enlightenment period.
He did. Well done to him.
He was Joseph Ducrot was a French painter who is known primarily for his unorthodox self-portraits. And like
Oh, so it's that dude, the meme. If you go down to the third picture, that's the
okay, we'll get there.
The posh spoken word meme picture.
Ah, right. Okay, so Cog is telling me to click on the profile of the person. Okay, we'll go back in a second. We'll do that because he told me to do that before too. But I just love this. It's like before selfies were even an idea. This guy was basically doing selfies of himself. So there's.
Well, I'm surprised more classical paintings don't have cock and bollocks.
Well, he gave himself a nice belly in this one. I love the yawning picture as well. Yeah. So this is the one you were.
Yeah, that one. That's the. Do you know? Remember that? It's like you take a common phrase that's like a slang or vernacular phrase, and then you reword it in a very verbose fashion, and that's the meme.
Okay.
You'll have seen that before around.
Okay. All right. Well, yep, that's him. And
yeah,
this one.
That's that. Yeah.
So I thought that was.
Well, thank you, Joseph Ducrot, for fucking 200 years after you, more than 200 years after you died,
becoming a meme.
Becoming a meme.
All right.
Through art, we can live forever.
All right. So what am I looking at here, Cog? It's got Martin Luther King, university lecturer. Oh my gosh, he's university lecturer on race and ethnicity research. Yeah, wow, he did try to white-splain her. Oh my gosh.
He didn't just try. He succeeded in white-splaining.
She forgot more in the last week about these issues than he knows.
Yeah, but she's probably a communist.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
wow.
Well, talking about, as Martin Luther King's there, and his day is coming up next, is it Monday or Tuesday or whatever? I did find one quote, which I took a screenshot of, so I can't really show it on the screen. But you know.
Oh, that reminds me. Yes, there's something coming up related to that.
Okay, well,
finish your story.
I'm just going to say it now. Oh, I just wanted to read out this quote from Martin Luther King, because people forget that he wasn't like just he wasn't a liberal. This man was a socialist.
Yeah. He had class consciousness. He understood about race and class nexes.
Indeed. He said, quote, "Capitalism does not permit an even flow of economic resources. With this system, a small privileged few are rich beyond conscience, and almost all others are doomed to be poor at some level. That's the way the system works, and since we know that the system will not change the rules, we are going to have to change the system."
Yep. So, yeah, all the times they've tried to middle class bourgeoisie him up.
Yeah, exactly. They've tried to rad-lib him to pieces as if he was some sort of nice centrist. Actually, the last public speech he ever gave was to a group of striking factory workers at the Coca-Cola factory. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was then murdered by a racist. So, you know, but it's the left that are violent.
When I saw that banner, which reminded you of that reminded me of something that was sent to me early today. So I want a little shout out here to Fete de Vache.
Sounds foreign.
Do you not recognize that? Fete de Vache. Fete de Vache? Fete de Vache. No, that's from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's the French before they throw the cow on top of...
fetch the cow. Yes. Okay. Right. Sorry.
So I got that.
Trying to work out whether it was a European or African swallow.
Yes. Okay. Oh, by the way, I am still on the lookout for Gary Pickle, that person who gave us a contribution, because I tried to cancel it and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm still on the lookout for him. So if anyone sees or hears from Gary Pickle, I want to send him a PayPal refund.
Of 200 squillion Canadian dollars.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, Fete Lavash sent me this for the show, and this is Laurence Fox saying, so here it is. It's basically the same thing about
Is this post-appearance? I'm taking it.
Yeah, this is a position I took last night, and I live by in life. If you can improve on it, I'm all ears. Or you can keep screeching racist at me, and I can carry on having a jolly good giggle at your expense. The tide is turning. He's Ricky Gervais.
Giggle.
Yeah.
A jolly good giggle, you posh twat. I mean, that's something I would say as a mockery of posh people.
And of course, he takes the content of their character quote. Nothing else.
Yeah.
He really needs to read Letters from a Birmingham Jail. Mr. Moderate White. Mr. telling people who are under oppression the timetable and pace at which they should, be unoppressed.
Indeed, yes. You can, exactly. You can have
white people.
Well, I love the Martin Luther King quote about when people were moaning about riots, which, I mean, look, riots aren't necessarily pleasant or anything, but he said, what was it? When you stop hanging us from trees, then maybe we'll stop smashing your nice things, or something along those lines. And I thought, fair play, yeah. The comfortable oppression is not cool. Just, I mean, if it makes you uncomfortable, figure out why that is and improve yourself. Don't ask other people who are fucked up by the system to just be okay with the system because it's nice for you.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Hey, I understand that the police in this town might, disproportionately execute unarmed black men. But that doesn't mean I should have to wait 20 extra minutes and do a detour because you're marching, to stop that. Duh.
Exactly.
Seriously?
Exactly. I need to get to the fucking Dunkin' Donuts. Can you please unblock the highway? I mean, I could just walk, but what's the point? I want to die of cardiovascular disease quicker, bitches.
All right, so I think we've probably done it on 2 shows and across 3 shows and 2 channels, or 4 videos and 2 channels tonight. But we got through the BBC bit.
3.
You had 2 on yours and then 1 here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's exactly. I had 2 videos spanning 3 minutes and 4
and mostly
seconds.
us talking absolute.
They're both gone now.
Fuck good. Thank God. No trace of that should ever exist. The start of this. I'm gonna clip the start of this video, and I haven't done it in the editing suite. But people who heard that live, like, get in on that shit now, because, like, when I finally get around to it, that's gonna be gone. It might be a day or 2, but maybe I'll do it. Anyway, you still there?
I am still here.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You were enjoying yourself.
I was actually. You were sort of just sitting back watching my little comedy routine. That it was very entertaining to an audience of me.
No, to an audience of however many people are watching right now. They all enjoyed it.
Oh, or they sat through it, waiting for you to make a dick joke.
They tolerated it.
73 people stuck it out. 72.
Why? Why are you here? Go away.
Dedicated fans.
Jesus Christ, leave. I know it's not my channel, so I shouldn't be saying that, but just go and masturbate furiously to annoy religious people.
Everything about you is vindictive.
Yeah. My spitefulness fuels me.
All right. So I guess we should talk a little bit about all things Trump. There's so many things still.
Oh, why didn't I? Data port, doll, you have the most deliciously dirty mind. Kevin completed twice in 3 minutes. Correct.
I moved for eggplants, by the way. I tried to post an eggplant, but it was like 2 hours. And then, of course, it's gone now because the stream is gone. But I love you, Daddy. We've got some dedicated fans. Well, at least people who don't have anything else to do at the moment, or are, just listening to us until they fall asleep. All right. So, Trump stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
I feel like I've talked enough now. You do. Okay. You do the rest of the show.
Well,
I'll say goodbye at the end.
That'll last all of 2 minutes.
Yeah. Wake me up when September ends.
And let's see, there was a part 2 of the Rachel Maddow interview.
Well, we didn't even talk about part 1, did we? Because we did a show before it happened.
Yeah, so Lev Parnas went and sang like a canary to Rachel Maddow, which is, good for her, good get. I'm happy for her. What sort of, as people would say, sort of truths were revealed. Again, here we go. Let's talk a little bit about Lev. Should we talk about Lev first in terms of where he is in his life? Where his life choices have brought him at this point? He is, that's a rhetorical question, but thank you for answering. I appreciate it, just to make sure you haven't dropped out.
Well, I'm just letting you know I am still.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm going to say listening with a question mark in brackets.
Yes, I'm just listening to you with my eyes closed. I'm listening though.
Exactly. It might look like I've got goggly eye gland. Those are just my eyes being normal. I'm awake, honest.
Or it's your TV because you've got the sport on.
Yeah, I've been watching snooker all the way through this.
Yes.
I'm never not watching. Whenever you hear this show, people, I'm almost never not watching sport.
I'm like trying to run multiple programs in Windows and audio. Kevin's multitasking, watching the snooker and then.
Well, even when I'm hosting, the sport on the TV. Yeah.
All right. So yes, Mr. Parnas. He is at a point in his life where he is under investigation by the Southern District of New York. He is facing...
Is there anyone that Donald Trump has met who isn't being investigated by the Southern District of New York?
Or in the Northern. Some are in the Northern District, I think.
Somewhere in the greater New York area, yeah. In the Tri-City area.
Yes. And he's out of the Trump circles. He's bailed from what he's now called a cult. And he went to...
Which means that Donald Trump now doesn't know who he is. He's never heard of him, even though there are pictures of him with every member of his fucking administration, including Trump himself.
Yes, because what we did see before the interview was his attorney trolling Trump by putting up... We would listen to We Are Family, went to some pictures of him and the Trump kids.
Yeah. Well, and not just that, but what was the other song? He used weird old
Can't
funky...
touch this.
Can't touch this old fucking MC Hammer.
With him with the gavel.
We need to get him on the show. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing, but...
Can we get Maddow sloppy seconds?
Oh, I hope so.
That'd be amazing, yeah. Lev, you're undoubtedly listening. I know you're a big fan. Come along.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I won't send you a link though, because mine won't work. But Kristi will send you a working link.
By the way, other exciting news that with all the technical problems, I forgot to mention something really important. Well, not really important, but really big happened today.
Go on then.
Eminem dropped a surprise album.
Well, I saw Eminem is over party. I don't know why that was the thing. That was trending.
I don't know. I got through about 5 songs, and 3 of them I like a lot, and 2 I'm a little bit lukewarm on. But I'll give a fuller review on my show on Sunday of Music to Be Murdered By is the title.
Grim.
So, in his interview with Rachel Maddow, that's what we were trying to get to.
Eminem was interviewed by Rachel Maddow.
Yes, Lev Parnas. Sorry, switching gears from M. Although I do think that Stephen Colbert Eminem interview on Michigan Public Access Television is one of the funniest things I have seen, because Eminem doesn't know if he's being serious or not. It's very funny. Anyway. Lev went on Rachel, and well, who didn't he throw under the bus, Kevin? I think there was nobody left. He basically said Devin Nunes, he'd called him on his private cell phone number.
The suspension on that bus is fucked.
Oh yeah. It's just corpses everywhere. Sorry.
He was like the Somme. It was fucking mad. Just dead bodies everywhere.
Nunes, he threw Pence under the bus, said the vice president. Basically, he said that what happened was when they started putting pressure on Ukraine, it's been escalating. It's always been there. They've been trying to get this since Zelensky was president-elect, that they initially dangled Pence going to Ukraine to be there for his inauguration as, well, if we'll do this for you if you give us the stuff on the Bidens. And they didn't, so they yanked Pence. And Parnas was like, of course he knew what was going on. He put, we've got Nunes, we've got, we just said, who did I just say?
Well, Trump himself, he was going about Trump Trump knew exactly where I was. He knew all my movements.
Yes, and that he was there and heard him try to fire Yovanovitch multiple times. Oh, William Barr. He threw William Barr under the bus, said
Yeah.
he knew about it. Yeah, so just absolutely fascinating.
John Bolton as well, although John Bolton's got that get a lawyer thing from behind the scenes that everyone's like, okay, well, he knew, but he was like, yeah, this is fucked up.
Yeah, he knew
like,
about
I'm
it,
not
but
going
he
to reveal this
yeah.
publicly, which is what I should do, but that's fucked up.
Yeah, so he basically said he knew about it, but he opposed it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, that some president's attorney also didn't want, Jay Sekulow didn't want much to do with it. Yeah, and also, so that happened, and while I'm thinking about it, yesterday, when the articles of impeachment, there was something that happened yesterday. No, it was the day the articles of impeachment happened. The Government Accounting Office produced a finding that had been requested by Senator Chris Van Hollins, I think is his name. He requested them to review, and they are an independent, they're not partisan, they're an independent body of auditors, to assess whether the Trump administration had violated the Congressional Impoundment Act, or some impoundment act, and it came out on the day that they were doing all the article stuff that he has. So all the people who are saying that Trump hasn't broken any laws, actually he has. The GAO found he did violate the Impoundment Act when he delayed the aid. So that also came out before the articles went over to the Senate. But getting back to Lev. So, yeah, he also dumped a bunch of documents that we also reviewed, right? So we
did, yes.
So we saw those. And, more information came out about that guy who... The congressional candidate, the GOP candidate, Mark, what's his name? I can't remember now.
It was Hyde.
Hyde,
Jekyll
yes.
and Hyde.
Yes, that was right. Hyde. He went on Fox News, and did you hear his excuse of why he was sending those texts and sending all that stuff?
Was he saying there was this other guy who's a scientist, and we've got like a just split personality thing going on?
He would have been better off saying that, I think.
Okay.
Did you honestly
did he say it couldn't have been me because I had a problem where I couldn't sweat at the time?
Who said that? Remind me who said that.
That was, do you remember
Andrew.
Prince Andrew?
Oh my God, that's right. I knew, it was like, why does that sound like, I know it was some asshole who said it, but that was so lame then.
Basically, I was doing a joke saying an awful excuse, which definitely wasn't true.
Yeah, but do you honestly had you not heard what he did when he went on Fox News to account for himself?
I have not heard this, Kristi. Please alleviate my ignorance.
Yeah, his response was, "Yeah, I was drunk a lot." I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna Google Hyde drunk.
Oh, please do. That's amazing. So, fucking hell. Is that why he was escorted off the premises? Was that why he was arrested? Because he was just stumbling about the golf course, pissed.
And one of the things that Lev Parnas alleged in this interview was that he was drunk all the time.
So, I mean, well, at least the stories match up, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see the Fox News one here, but drunk all the time, Parnas dismisses Hyde tracking Yovanovitch. I'll have to find it on Fox News, maybe. Add that to the search term.
Yeah.
Because the, sorry, the other one is earlier. President Trump has now given us drunk Watergate. Okay, that sounds like we're going in the right direction. Oh my God.
Drunk Watergate is amazing. Drunk Watergate? Fucking hell. What a timeline. What a timeline we live in.
Oh, fuck off.
When you thought the Watergate scandal was the most incompetent thing a government could do.
I have to, like, fuck it, we're going to find it somewhere else.
Fuck your raw story.
Yeah.
I know you've already got your click, so you don't care, but fuck you nonetheless.
I can't find it now, and that's like, sorry, everyone. And of course, the one place I did have it, anyway. So that was the name.
Well, I believe you, Kristi.
Okay. So that also came out, and not exactly a credible witness. The Ukrainian government have started an investigation into the whole thing to find out if the American... Yeah.
specifically who hacked into Burisma, which, regardless of how corrupt you think Burisma was, that's still a private company in Ukraine. You can't just hack into their fucking information. So, yeah, they're like, actually, we should probably look into this.
Well, and they know the
that's
Russians
suspect.
didn't. Yeah, the Russians didn't even
of course
hide.
they fucking did, yeah.
So,
yeah.
So Lev Parnas is putting yet more pressure tactically on the Republicans to allow for more evidence, and the evidence that's going to come in is like the GAO found that the president, that OMB broke the law at the direction of the president, that John Bolton is willing to testify under subpoena, and that Lev Parnas will come in and tell you all about what Trump said at the meeting about Yovanovitch and who knew what and what Rudy said and anything you want to know. Oh, and Devin Nunes.
Yeah, Devin Nunes is a sneaky little shit, isn't he?
Sorry, everyone. Yeah, what's astounding is he said he's watching Devin Nunes, who knew all about it, run as co-chair or chair for the minority or whatever on the Intelligence Committee next to Adam Schiff, lying his ass off every single day, pretending like he didn't know exactly that all this stuff was true. And then Devin was on Fox News, and they went, because he'd been on before, and said, I don't know who this Lev Parnas, who it is. And then he went back on and said, I mean, we could probably find the clip, but I don't want to like do all the audio stuff again. Oh yeah, now that I went back and I checked my records, I do remember the call. And yeah, I talked to him and I said, yeah, just, talk to my staff. And I'm like, but how does he get a congressional member's, phone number? And what staff member did you direct him to? And, so he knew. I mean, he just implicated himself even more. And I don't know when they're going to start the ethics committee investigation into him, but he cannot continue in that role that he's doing right now.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt he's fucking compromised. There's no way he can be because they have obviously access to some very, very sensitive information behind the scenes. There's no way he can be allowed to continue to have that access. Although I would say that also about Donald Trump, but that's,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happened with the Lev thing. There was also the delivery of the articles and the...
Yeah, the small matter of the impeachment of the President of the United States.
Yeah. And whether or not he's going to go to Davos, I think it is. Because he's trying to be out there, but...
That's not Davros, the leader of the Daleks.
Yeah,
Second
Davros.
shout out for the Daleks tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty close. One letter, whatever.
Yeah.
But his attention span, we saw what happened when they had another one of these big votes. So he'll probably just bail again.
Well, did you see his amazing insight on Twitter?
Oh,
Caps
God.
Raid. I've just got impeached for having a perfect phone call.
Oh, right. Yeah.
All caps lock. And that's the thing. He would have made things a lot easier for himself if he'd allowed Republicans to do the thing that some of them were doing, which was, well, it wasn't a perfect call, but does it really reach the level of impeachment? Really? But his fragile ego wouldn't even allow him to do that. It had to be perfect. Yeah. Why? You're an idiot, Trump. You really are.
He's a fragile little man baby.
Yeah. Which, we've been saying that, since we've known each other, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, okay. Well, there was that, but I'm wondering.
It was the optics of it were nice. Having a black woman take the articles of impeachment to the Senate for the impeachment of a racist sexist. Yeah, nice. Because I think that would have hurt him more. And that's the beauty of this whole thing, is that it's absolutely fucking eating him up.
Oh, the impeachment. Oh, yeah. Every single day.
Yeah. He tweets about very little else. Still hasn't tweeted about the massive earthquake in Puerto Rico.
Oh, no. It has nothing to do with him.
No. Well, and it's brown people, so who cares? Is his basic gist.
Oh, and did you see who's... so anyway, sorry, I just got distracted because I saw this on the screen, but have you seen his legal team?
Oh, God, is it? I don't know who it is, but it's probably like Jeffrey Dahmer or something. I don't know.
Well, Ken Starr from Clinton impeachment fame, and Alan Dershowitz are...
Again, pretty fucking close, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Awful.
And
Trash.
then Sekulow and some other person... I don't know.
And probably Rob Schneider.
Yeah. Nice. Sorry, I've got something.
Niche reference.
Yeah. I've got like a frog in my throat. I need to clear it, but I'm going to mute myself. So you wanted to say a little bit about, they had to do their swearing of their oath. Did you see that?
They
happen?
did, and I did see that, yes. And I just thought to myself, you lying bastards. So many of the Republicans have already come out and said that they're not going to be impartial. So at the bit during the fucking thing where it says, I will impartially do X, Y, and Z to the accord of the Constitution,
Yeah.
they were lying. Totally fucking lying.
The day before, Rand Paul in the Senate meeting said if they vote for witnesses, he will help bring out Oppo research to take them down. It was in Politico. I think I can find it. The day before he took that oath.
Well, because Rand Paul's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Witnesses.
Yeah. So, but don't expect anything from the Republicans. They're not going to do anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much more incriminating evidence comes out, they don't care.
All right. Senator Rand Paul is waging a fierce campaign to prevent the Senate from hearing witnesses in Donald Trump's impeachment trial. I'm just going to scroll down here. Here we go. Quote, if you vote against Hunter Biden, you're voting to lose your election, basically. Seriously, that is it, Paul said. If you don't want to vote and you think you're going to have to vote against Hunter Biden, you should just vote against these witnesses, period. And where does it go down?
Well, it's not an incredibly original or insightful observation, but I said if they vote for witnesses, the Republicans are going to go try and get Hunter Biden. And if I were Hunter Biden, I'd tell them to go fuck themselves.
Well, if I were Hunter Biden and they called me up to testify, every answer that I gave would start with citing a similar thing that a Trump child was benefiting, or a completely random thing that a Trump child was benefiting from. So, unlike
fact, Rudy Giuliani's kid is getting, was it a $90,000 a year job to organize the when like professional athletes, like when someone wins the Super Bowl, the team go to the White House.
Yeah,
he has to organize that. So basically, he's sort of behind. At least in part, anyway, behind the burgers for the national champions thing, the McDonald's on the table, all that shit. So he's getting paid $90,000 to do nothing because he came out of the right set of balls.
Yep. So if in example, if they were going to do this, like unlike Donald Trump Jr., who benefited from the Republican National Committee buying 500,000 copies of his book on Amazon in a bulk purchase, I've never written a book to benefit from my family. That's how.
Well, to be fair, neither is Donald Trump.
No, he's never written a book either.
He didn't write it. No,
absolutely.
I would be surprised if he could.
Yeah. I can't be bothered, but basically it says here, the Kentucky senator is vowing to squeeze vulnerable Republican incumbents if they side with Democrats during Trump's impeachment trial. So yeah, right before he took his oath of impartiality.
Yeah. He's that's definitely someone who cares about the Constitution.
Yep. So as Malcolm Nance points out, shorter Trump, Ken Starr, was fired for mishandling sexual assault. Perfect. Hire him. Because apparently he was at a university and mishandled a sexual assault complaint.
Well, you don't
Baylor,
know, he's perfect. He's perfect Trump candidacy, then, isn't he? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and this was revealed by the media that apparently, I think up to 11 individual troops were injured during the Iranian attack. Unlike what the president and the Department of Defense had been sort of portraying it as, with they said no casualties or whatever else. But yeah, there were like up to 11 people who were taken to hospital, and this was initially
because
covered.
the obvious lie, the reason they would lie about that is because they knew they'd backed themselves into a corner and didn't want to attack because they knew they were fucked. Like they'd backed themselves into a corner where they wanted to posture about doing something and didn't actually want to do anything because of pushback and stuff. So they pretended like, no, the Iran thing didn't, it was fine, honest. No one was hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a sort of like when the people of Iran freaked out when their government lied to them about some important national thing. And this is like barely even getting covered. But of course, in Trump...
because it's Trump, yeah. Nothing gets covered with Trump.
Yeah. So initially they said no casualties.
The American media is shit.
Yeah. So a military official told CNN that 11 service members had been injured in the attack. And then they said no casualties. I would guess. Anyway, that's a thing. More lies from the Trump administration.
How ironic that the people who go on about the left using words can mean whatever you want them to mean. It's postmodernisms. Support Trump with his, there's no casualties, but casualties only means deaths.
Yeah. Oh, this I thought was a good, well-made point. Donald Trump, August 19th, 2016. Quote, "At the end of 4 years, I guarantee you that I will get over 95% of the African-American vote." Washington Post Ipsos poll, January 17th, 2020. 90% of blacks disapprove of Trump. 83% say he's racist. He is a racist. Sorry. So.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Kristi, though, is it at the end of the 4 years?
He's still got all these months.
He's got time. He's got time to turn it around. I believe in him. He can do it.
There we go.
I know the numbers are looking bad now, but you give him 6 months and he will win all of those people around. Guarantee it.
Okay. Here's just a link to the GAO coverage. There you go. Yeah, my I didn't really clean up my bookmarks very much, so there's a lot of I got the dumb white guy being just dumb a couple times.
Well, don't be racist, Krista. Pointing out that he's white is racist.
Yeah, did you see this?
You sent it to me, and I was going to watch it, and I fell asleep, so I didn't. And I'm like a cat. I forgot.
Cats forget?
Well, they're not elephants. Because elephants never forget.
Should we listen to some more white people whining? Conservative white whining?
Which one of the white whiners are whining?
Oh, well, I guess I'll let you decide that for yourself.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So, sound on. So again, Kevin, quiet time now. Hitting play. I don't know what this sounds like. Good to go. Come on, hit. Go. What's going on? I keep hitting it and it's not going. Oh, you piece of crap. What's going on? That it?
I
don't care what they're up to.
Then go away.
Then
there's no
would you
reason to
wanna
interview
investigate?
anyone.
Yes,
Okay.
there
You're free to be about your business. Please don't get any more complaints.
I don't know why you're making
Have a good night.
accusations about me. You're an officer. You're
I'm
supposed to
not
know the
making any
truth.
accusations other than what I believe
It's
is
supposed
taking
to be the
place here.
truth.
Here is what I believe is taking place. Because you're hanging the microphone in my face, you're playing these silly games.
Because you're an officer and
Then
you're
go do
supposed to
your
uphold
thing.
the law
Then go
and
do
the
your
First
business.
Amendment
I am
and the
holding the law.
truth.
Have you been handcuffed yet? Have you
No,
done
but
anything
I've
but
been
sit here and
praying
argue
with
me? That's all you've done is sit and argue with me about
This is
complaints that I received about you.
I
You
support
said you got
you guys.
complaints, so then I attempted to help you. You chose not to ask for my help in that consideration.
You wanted to confiscate our property.
You wanted me to investigate what you said was a crime. That's the
Right.
only way it can be investigated. It's not confiscating.
I just wanna know
It's putting it into
what
evidence so the detectives can
situations-
take a look at it.
What situations would happen?
Yes, sir, it is. If that's what you would like the detectives to look at, that's what they'll look at.
The whole camera is
Okay?
evidence.
Are you a detective? Because maybe I missed you,
I've-
police.
That's why
I don't remember.
I don't know why we have to be rude to each other.
I'm
like
not
this.
being rude, but I'm done playing the semantic
being
game. Be about
condescending
your
with
business.
him.
Be about your business. Suffice it to say, I would prefer not to hear any more complaints about your behavior tonight.
So I can't interview people if
I
one
didn't say-
person makes a
That's
complaint.
not what I said.
You
I
said
did
I'm
not say. I
bothering
said be
people.
about your business. I received
I'm
complaints
just
about
trying
you.
to
I've
get
now
a
talked
black
to you
and
about
white.
it. There is no black and white. You want me to do hypotheticals? I'm not going to do it.
Yes, because I want to know the law.
And
I
I'm
want to know
not
what you guys
going
will
to
do.
it. Everything is investigated individually. Just like you wanted your complaint investigated, I'd be glad to do that for you. You don't seem to
Well,
want
we
to
would
take
have
me
to
up
give
on
up
that
our
question.
camera right now.
Correct, because it's evidence.
There we go.
I
You
believe
do.
what you're doing here right now is this would be great film for you, right? Arguing with the cop. Oh my God, you got him.
No,
That's what this is
my
all
audience
about.
loves cops. That wouldn't make sense.
Then let's move on with our night,
I
so
know,
I
I'm
can go
trying
protect
to-
somebody that might actually need to be
I will-
protected.
Why can't you
Right?
tell people that they can't just make me
Right?
leave because of accusations? These are accusations
Did I make
against
you
me.
leave?
No, that's not what
Did
I'm
I make
saying.
you leave?
No, I'm trying to explain.
Do you understand
keep being
people go to jail all the
condescending.
time based on accusations? And then it's up
I
to...
do, and I want to protect
and then-
myself. Yes, good point. I want to protect
Then I
myself.
would leave everybody alone, because they
I'm-
clearly don't
I
like
am
you.
talking.
It sounds
So
like
I have to
you're
leave.
taking a side
I'm
that
not taking
she
anyone's
is.
side. I'm not taking
Well, you
anyone's
said
side.
leave people alone.
I would say this seems like a bad idea in here. But that's just me. You're free to do whatever you'd like.
But I will have consequences if I
You
go
are
in
free.
there and
The
engage
interesting
in
thing
free
about
speech.
being an adult in the world is every...
You like that?
That's amazing. I mean, there's so much to get involved, but just at the end there, if there are consequences if I have free speech, yes.
Yeah.
This is what I've said this before and it bears repeating. They don't want free speech, they want consequence-free speech. It doesn't matter what you say and do, there are consequences. There always have been, there always will be. You're a fucking child if you think that you can just go and say whatever you like and people aren't going to react. Of course they're going to react. And as the guy said, they don't seem to like you, so stop being a prick and leave them alone.
Yeah.
He was onto them. He knew exactly why they were there and what they were doing, and he wasn't playing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play to him.
They should teach that, they should pass that around in training courses.
Yeah.
To deal with this, because he just shut her down, and he didn't fall for any of her attempts to get him to rise to her bait by making false accusations about what was happening. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I think we're kind of... we're already back to passing the ERA, which it would have been the 15th 2 days ago when we last spoke, which was...
Passing whose earned run average?
Yeah, baseball, man. It's going to be
it's
the Cactus
ERA.
League pretty
See, that's a different thing, isn't it?
Yep. This is from Ryan Griffin, by the way. No, it's not. It's from Kyle Griffin.
Oh, you called him fucking Peter Griffin last time. Jesus Christ.
I don't know why. I think Kyle reminded me of Brian. I don't know. Anyway, a Georgia election server contains evidence that was possibly hacked before the 2016 presidential election and the 2018 vote that gave Georgia Governor Brian Kemp a narrow victory over Stacey Abrams, according to an election security report. We are under attack, people. We don't have air sirens for this war that's happening digitally that the Russians are engaging with on democracy generally in Western Europe and the US.
Well, did you see actually during the week that Putin further got his grip over Russia?
Yeah, he's trying to consolidate. Yeah, he's trying to go back to the Tsar days.
Well, he's basically been himself a dictator for life, which he basically already was. Everyone knew he wasn't going to be giving up power. But he forced Medvedev, the prime minister, and had been president briefly whilst he did his last piece of constitutional shenanigans to get around it and become president again. Forced him to resign as prime minister, and he's now got a new puppet. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, Orion, you don't think that was the Russians in which specific case?
In the case of the sinking of the Kursk. No, that was
the
obviously
mystery
Russians.
of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I don't think they torpedoed the Titanic. I mean, literally no one's ever accused them of it, but I still don't think they did it.
Okay. There we go. Cleared.
It's my hot take for the day.
Oh, the Georgia server hacking. It was a private company that was watching stuff that found it was a CrowdStrike. Actually, it wasn't the government that released that information. By the way, on the Russian.
How do we know they didn't just bleach it with actual bleach?
They just ran a bleach. Yeah, that was it. I had redone the Windows. But now I'm going to have to look that up because I am sure that what I heard reported about it was that the Internet Research Agency, they didn't even bother to hide their IP addresses. And that's how they knew that it was the same people who did the other hacking. Ukraine. Oh no, Burisma.
Yeah. Which is in the Ukraine, not the Ukraine. Yeah. Apparently, I've been told the Ukraine is offensive.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Ukraine.
Okay, all right. So
which I don't quite know why that is, but someone explained it to me, and I instantly forgot because there was sport on. Like, what am I going to do? Remember shit? But yeah, apparently the Ukraine is not the...
Thanks for the correction. Like I said, I call it. I learned I should call it Kyiv. I learned a lot.
No, I wasn't even correcting you. I was correcting me because I said the Ukraine.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh no, but I know that's not cool.
I think I slip in and use that too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Employees, websites. Who they said? I know the New York Times reported the attack.
There wasn't a single complete word in that sentence.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm scanning. That was me buffering. That was me just that was just the speed of my broadband.
Your Kristi has broken, and we'll shut down. And
no, she's just absorbing information at rapid speed. I'm looking for particular information. Unless we want to go to the New York Times and look, why not? I mean, I try to save
the filing New York Times.
Yeah. They got some bad takes, but yeah, I side-eye the New York Times. Looking to find out who found...
Well, wasn't it them that employed the horrible transphobic person? Whatever her name was. I can't remember. I don't know.
Oh yeah, this is the greatest thing too. Then as now, the Russian hackers from a military intelligence unit, formerly known as the GRU, and to private researchers by the alias Fancy Bear, used so-called phishing emails that appeared designed to steal usernames and passwords.
Hang on, so there was a Fancy Bear fishing?
Yes, basically.
Leave him alone.
Yes.
Leave him alone. He just wants some fucking cod or whatever. Salmon.
So I'm trying to find who found the initial hack, and I saw someone from CrowdStrike, and the only reason I kind of remember it was because CrowdStrike is the thing mentioned, and I know they did internet security.
That was it. Sorry, the Ukraine is what's condescendingly referred to. That's what the Russians call it. The Ukraine. Okay. So it's sort of like a belittling thing. Got it. I remember now. There we go.
Well, it helps that when someone writes it in the chat for you.
Well, no, that's what I meant. Yeah, because when Natalie explained that to me, by the way, Natalie's awesome Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it sparked in my mind. I was like, oh yes, now I remember them telling me. But there was sport on, so I can't be expected to remember everything that happens ever.
Well, they're not citing CrowdStrike here, but yeah. So that's what I'd heard. It was the Russians. That's where I got it from. So if you want to know why I said that, that's where I got it from.
You got it from Russia.
With love. Yes.
That's a James Bond joke for you there. Free of charge.
Did I see the New York Times interview with Bernie? No. Like I said, I only get like 5 free articles a month, and so I hoard them. And then the month expires, and then I just start hoarding them again the next month. So I generally don't look at the New York Times. That's why I hesitated to even do it here. So, Natalie's like, oh, shucks. Yes, no, I don't generally see any interviews in the New York Times. I would only look usually at politics articles myself, but I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Well, like a difficult birth, we got there in the end. Even though it ended up with an episiotomy, an emergency C-section, but we got the baby out.
That's a weird analogy. That's a very weird analogy.
It's like it was too late for the epidural, then the episiotomy with no anesthetic.
Should have just aborted.
Yeah. Sorry. Even if it was someone flashed my name, so now I gotta look at it. Even if CrowdStrike found it, does that mean it was the Russians? It seems more local hacking by Republicans, especially the wiping of the machines. Again, I think it traces back to the IP addresses that were that they linked back to in the phishing websites. But you can read the whole thing in the New York Times.
Plus, if it was the Republicans, that would still be Russian agents. Hey-o.
Yeah. And I don't know if you meant local Ukrainian hacking, because I don't know how it could be hacked by the Republicans. So I don't know the parties. We're going to move off this topic. I've done my bit. I've given you a link to other information.
She did the bit. Speaking
to about links to other information, I saw after Kevin kind of gave him some shade. Someone was asking for Cog's music, and
I did not give him shade. How dare you?
And I could put it on
It was the same. If you were playing the fucking Beatles before the fucking show, I'd say there's no need to play the Beatles. What are you doing the music for?
And because I want to go live before we go live, and that's how I test it. So just let me do my show the way I want to do my show.
No, that's fine. You can. I'm just saying it creates more problems potentially than is necessary in a show that I mean, I struggle like fuck. You're better than me, but there are still problems, right? So why make it more complex?
Well, I solved way more problems tonight than I caused. I'm just going to say that. I'm not saying you caused problems, but I solved problems by getting the show out.
So now who's throwing shade?
Anyway, what I wanted to say about it was, if people want the sound file and Cog is okay with it, I can put it up on Dropbox and create a public link, and you guys can download it. Because I did also not just record it, but I sort of did a remastering of it, of cleaning up the background noise and leveling up the compression.
Oh, no, who's throwing shade? Oh, my God.
No, I just tidied it up a little bit.
Cog, you're recording shit. I had to clean it up.
I do it for the podcast, too.
You fucking student layabout
Oh,
bastard.
speaking of-
Clean your own audio up.
Oh, this is another reason, because I had songs going into the podcast, and I dropped that now, and COG is sort of like, or whatever music we have is the intro. But speaking of that, the podcast is out from the last show, and I'll try to turn this one around like in the next 24 hours or so. Just this one though, and without all the silence at the start.
Yeah.
Oh, what a night, what a night, what a night. Did you have
Yes.
anything that you bookmarked?
Oh shit, I don't even know if I did.
It's Friday. Oh
look.
my God, I forgot I have a quarter of a grilled cheese sandwich here to eat.
Oh my god. Chris, you're such white trash. Oh my word.
I
I've got
actually-
some cold grilled cheese, and you sounded so excited, like you was like,
I forgot
oh, yes,
about
I
it.
just found a massive bud
I'm
or
like
something. You know
that
what I mean?
rat
Like,
with the pizza. Look what I got. Look.
what Splinter?
No, you've seen that picture of the rat that was pulling the pizza as big as it down a staircase in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. But no, grilled cheese. I have a
Well,
sandwich
it must have been a
maker.
big slice of fucking pizza in New York. Jesus.
Yeah. Also,
Anyway,
yes, I have a sandwich maker, so I made grilled cheese sandwiches with Gouda cheese. Yeah, it's a quarter because Natalie asked why it was a quarter. So it actually no, it's not. It's a half. Sorry, I had 4 of them, so I only had one left.
For fuck's, you're white trash. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I can explain it any better than that.
So they're cut in half because the sandwich maker cuts them in half automatically. And I initially had 4, so in my head I had a quarter of my 2 sandwiches left, but it's actually a half of one.
Christi, I don't even know what you're talking. There's half of a quarter of 3 of 4. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, I'm now sharing. Apparently, am I sharing?
Oh yeah, hold on. I need to make you on my screen bigger though. That was very German. Okay.
Anyway, this is the only thing I've bookmarked, and I just thought this is the weirdest bit of like gender shit
What?
ever. Someone put this. This is amazing. This was an actual thing in someone's town in America, obviously. I teach man lessons. My wife teaches woman lessons because apparently that's a thing. And this, imagine this as things that you want to learn. As these, I will teach your son how to. This is fight, bleed, groan. What?
What?
Don't know what that means. Yeah, don't know. Anyway, she will teach your daughter ballet, long hair, pink.
This isn't serious, right?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know. It seems like trolling, but would you put it up on a lamppost or whatever this is? A thing.
Call that number, Kevin.
I'm not calling shit.
Call
That's
the
going to cost
number.
a fortune. It's in America. It's going to cost a fortune.
Do it
No.
just do it on Hangouts. Dialer will be free on your Wi-Fi. Do it on. Well,
No,
can
you
credit
do
on
it.
Skype. No, you do it. This is your pick. And also you're braver than me. That can't.
I am brave. If you ring, I'll talk.
No, we're not going to call. Nobody should call these people. They should block this out. But no, we're not going to call. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
I
But
agree.
anyway, that was amusing to me. I just thought, oh, straight people.
Yeah, very much so.
Anyway, so that was the one thing I bookmarked. That's what I brought to the table.
All right. Well, thanks for that contribution to show and tell. Kev.
Well, no, to be fair, I did the whole Laurence Fox thing.
Yeah, you
'cause
did. You did.
Although you stepped in with some good feminist analysis, so thank you for that.
Oh, well, yeah, thanks. On the fly, you know. I'll also move things down a little bit so people can check out this awesome cityscape background I've got.
It's a city, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, the chat's completely gone. I've collapsed it down to nothing. That's amazing. I never did that before.
Well, to me, the chat are always nothing.
Oh, so mean. Yeah, there you go. Enjoy that. Enjoy it, people. Yeah. Are we at the end of the show now?
I think so.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up.
I felt like that was about fucking 2 hours ago, though, so I don't know.
That's true. But you're in a better mood now. Thank fuck.
Slightly, but I am going to have to go and have a very angry wank. So glad my dad isn't listening to this bit.
Maybe, yes, it was the curse of Kevin's dad watching, so we'll have to try it again on my channel and see if it extends.
Well, I can't wait to see what. Well, he might not have watched it because he's boomer as fuck. So he'll go like, "Well, you sent me the thing, but I tried typing it in. No, you just click on the fucking door." So he probably didn't. But if he did get through to it, I can't wait to hear what he thought of the weird 3 minutes in 2 videos bit. You probably just think it's a piece of like weird interpretive art or something.
People in the chat are asking where that is. No idea. You had an idea, didn't you?
No, that was the other one.
Oh, right.
It was Singapore, because it has the ship on top of the things over 3 buildings.
That looks pretty European. Maybe.
Yeah, that looks like possibly Budapest.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Central Eastern Europe. Yeah, that's really pretty too. Oh, that might be Prague. If that is the castle.
Well, that would still be done.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't want to guess. Yeah. All right. Now we're to the point where we're just talking crap. So
just talking
this is usually when we end it. And unlike most times, I actually have the end the stream button up now because it's just been staring at me guiltily for the terrible start to this show. But yeah, thanks everybody for sticking with us. How many made it this far?
No, I'm not going to say thank you. I'm going to say look at yourselves.
72.
You stuck with this nonsense.
72
That's
people
on you.
stuck it out.
That's definitely on you at this point.
You guys are why we do this. Otherwise, we would have just.
No, you guys are why Kristi does this.
You do it to vent.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I do it because I don't have a social life. So.
Right. So Monday is Martin Luther King Day holiday, so there's not going to be any Senate-related things until Tuesday night. Just as for everyone keeping track at home, that is. And they did a bunch of formal stuff today, and oh, that's right. The president was presented formally with the articles of impeachment delivered from the House or Senate, whatever, and he's got until tomorrow.
It's okay. It's okay because he can't read, so there's no way that's an issue for him. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Natalie says yes, it's Prague, according to Google. Oh, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Our chat is so smart, and so Trump's attorneys will have an opportunity to respond. And I want to point this out, too, before we start the impeachment trial, because I've not really heard anyone else say this. So I'm going to try to get in early. We've never heard a formal defense of Donald Trump yet. The Republicans, as you know, because we sat through the impeachment coverage, just did a spaghetti against the wall approach. Just anything that, just whatever would, just throw it all there and see if anything sticks.
Yes.
So this time, though, they're going to have to make some kind of legal arguments. And we've never heard that. We've heard Rudy Giuliani being, just bizarre, and Dershowitz and even Barr, who said that some of the evidence was very bad for the president. But Jay Sekulow, I think, no, is it Jay Sekulow? I think, but Sekulow is going to be the head attorney, and we have no idea what he's going to try to say to defend Donald Trump from these charges. So yeah, should be pretty interesting when they actually get up there and for the first time start to respond to the charges with the president's official case.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder which of the absurd nonsense lines they're going to take. Have you ever seen a lawyer just go, no, I can't hear you, la 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 la?
Well, Devin Nunes tried in that hearing against that cute little blonde hottie, not Bowtie Boy guy, but the other one that I really liked when they went and had that little back and forth. Oh no, it was Jim Jordan, and the guy kept having the last word, and Schiff was like telling Jordan to shut up. Do you not remember that? Oh, okay.
No, well, because he didn't make me as wet as he made you, so no, I don't really remember.
But the exchange was just Jim Jordan trying to get in the last word, and the witness trying to.
Oh yes, I do remember that guy now. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember who he was, but
supposed to be Hill and Holmes. That was it. His last name was Holmes, because I remember one of the things that went around was I would totally sit down for a season of Hill and Holmes when it was Fiona Hill and David Holmes, maybe, sat next to her for the last day of testimony.
Sherlock.
Wow, that's really digging deep into the happy hour experience there.
That's happy hour law.
Yeah, now. Oh, it's Sec-Ulo, or Sac-Ulo. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point before anyone else did in the media. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. Anything coming up on your channel, by the way, before I do my?
Well, I've had
It's gonna be the end of the
couple
month soon, right?
very, very weird videos go up today.
I saw you did a cat video, but I didn't have a chance to watch it yet.
Oh well, thanks for the support.
I said yet.
I'm such a twat. Anyway, well, you don't have to. It's just cute cats from the area. They harass me for chicken.
You're such a softie.
Yes, I am. Anyway, what was I going to? No, basically, no. I'm working on stuff, but there's nothing immediately in the next couple of days. I might do like a stream on something if a thing pops up and grabs my attention.
Yeah. They're debating how to pronounce seculo in the chat, and then by Pagan Man came up with Confucius.
Confucius. Yes.
Or Confucius.
There's some great lore from the past.
Yeah,
nice.
as well. Okay. By the way, when are you guys doing CAC again? Any is that going to
be the end of the month, which is not that far off, but
not close enough to think about it yet? That's fair.
Well, no, I'm always thinking about it. I'm always making notes. But in terms of a date, no, we haven't arranged anything yet.
They want to play your cat videos on the stream, by the way. Go to his channel.
If you want to.
You get more views.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose, yeah. But you can hoover up my views, my millions of views on the fucking cat video.
I'll put it on mute.
Well, no, because I'm explaining stuff. I'm talking.
Not you on mute. The video on mute.
No, that's what I mean. I talk in the video.
But I'll mute the video. I'll mute the video so that you can keep talking, but we'll just watch the cats.
No, but in the video I talk, and therefore you're missing out on stuff in the video.
But I'm watching it for the cats. All right. Well, so you can't. We're not going to
leave it. No, Kristi, no.
You're not going to do it properly. Don't do it.
I'm pulling copyright on it now. This is not fair use. You can't use my video of cats. Don't make me DMCA my own show, okay? Because I will. I'm petty enough to do that. Anyway.
So go watch Kevin's
Is this still happening? Are we still
running?
On?
Yeah, it's still running.
For God's sake.
So go watch Happy Cat videos and come back.
Jesus.
Probably, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Probably, unless something important or not important happens.
Give me a 400th trimester abortion. Fucking hell.
So, thanks to the people in chat for sticking with us, the 67 of you that are still around. And
shame on you. Shame on you for not demanding higher standards from entertainers.
Thanks to the people who are watching in the future, especially if you're watching all the way to the end of the video. I have been Kristi. The chat's been awesome. Viewers have been awesome.
No.
Kevin has been a trial tonight, but he's happier at the end. And that makes me happy.
Well, I haven't finished much happier, yes.
Good. Say goodbye from me. And goodbye from Lord Kevin Buckethead. Say goodbye, Lord Kevin Buckethead.
Goodbye, Lord Kevin Buckethead.
Nice. I just made that up. Bye.